Right, here we are, daily video number 37. Look, pumping this one out from the office today, not in the normal boardroom where I normally pump them out. Look, before I jump into one today, I don't know about you, but I've got this weird thing that happens to me whenever I listen to that goddamn song, Wavy. You know that song I'm talking about, right? So, I'm so wavy, every time I hear that song, and I'm talking about this right now because I was just listening to it like 5 minutes ago, is whenever I hear that song, I get this picture in my head.
In the morning, I roll up and count my money. I'm so wavy, I'm so wavy, I'm so wavy.
But anyway, let's get into today's topic. Look, I've spent the morning with somebody that's very, very close to me, who kind of wanted to catch up and have a chat because they were feeling a bit down, a bit depressed, and a little bit lost. And it kind of makes me think about today's topic, which is about unhappiness. And I guess, how we can get stuck in a loop and not know how to progress. Now, when I had a chat with them this morning, I said, look, what you need to do is a couple of things. Firstly, it is easy to, I guess, feel a sense of overwhelm and like you don't know what to do when you think about life in all of its components and everything all at once. When you just think about it as this one big thing and oh my God, I'm so unhappy and you can't pinpoint why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? It's hard when you're looking at it there as a whole, but when you break it down, because there's not really that many different areas of life when you think about this, and I said this earlier today, really if you think about it, how many areas of life are there? There are, I guess, maybe 4, 5, 6 main areas of life. You've got your physical health and wellness, right? How happy are you with your health? How happy are you with your body? You've got your spirituality, if you're into that kind of thing. How happy are you in tune with the universe or in tune with God, whatever it might be. You've also then got, of course, business, your work, your career. How happy are you there? You've also got self-improvement and development. You're happy there. Do you feel like you're growing? And of course, you've got relationships. And relationships kind of like splits out and it becomes like intimate relationships. You've got like friendships, family relationships, and you've got, of course, work and associates and colleagues and stuff like that. So like they're the main areas of life. And when you look at life and you place them into those, I guess, chapters, you can kind of look at it and go, okay, cool, rate yourself. Tony Robbins has a thing called the Wheel of Life, which I think is a brilliant tool for just doing a quick little audit on yourself. And you're like, okay, cool. How happy am I with my body? Okay, I'm happy there. Bang. How happy am I with my work? Bang, I'm happy there. How happy with my relationships? Oh shit, I'm not that happy with that. Because when you've got no focus and no clarity, it's hard to then, I guess, identify what kind of action you need to take to fix whatever it is. And if you're just like waking up and you're feeling empty and like you don't know what's going on, first, break life into those areas and take a look at exactly where you feel like you're lacking. Because once you've identified where that is, you can then start taking action to change those things. That's number one. Number two, obviously there's a number of ways that we, do depression and stuff like that. But a big thing is that like your body and your mind are connected. The thoughts that we feel and the way that we hold our body ultimately affect the way that we feel. And if you think about depression in itself, there's things that those kind of people do on a regular basis. Certain thoughts that loop about the unconscious and also conscious, but also there's certain patterns of the body that these people are in. And like, if you're not moving, if you're always down, if you're always like, crumpled in, you feel like life's too hard, all that kind of bullshit, then like, that's the way you're going to feel. So the next thing, once you identify where the areas of life are you feel like you're lacking, you then need to then start taking control of this and taking control of this. Like Amy Cuddy has a fantastic book called Presence, and I recommend everybody read it because it's a really, really good book. But she talks about like, doing power poses, like feeling strong, standing strong, looking straight ahead, imagining your future, feeling good, breathing deep, and taking control of your body and programming it to act the way you want it to be. So, there's massive power and massive gains to be got in taking control of this and taking control of this. And if you're doing depression a lot, and you're like feeling lost and down and sad, you have to begin to notice what the patterns of thought you are having and also what patterns of body you're having as well. So that's number two. And you need to change that because that's going to give you a very, very fast change in the way that you're feeling. But it doesn't stop there because, I remember when I was 19, and I'd been through in and out of the prison system and I got out, had no skills, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had absolutely no idea who I wanted to be or what I wanted to do in life. And I can tell you what, I think that stage after prison was a really, really interesting thing for me because like I felt empty, and I felt empty because I had no purpose. So I think number 3 in regards to happiness is purpose. And like, you know, people go through their whole lives trying to figure out what their purpose and their calling is. And to tell you the truth, I think that a lot of people have a different calling at different stages in their life. And all the stages that we go through in life can, like, there's no, I guess, set time that we stay in a stage. It's based on our internal coping mechanisms and also our external environments and the things that are going on that shape what stage we're in right now. But I think at the end of the day, when we can find something that resonates with us, you know, our calling, our purpose right now in this stage of life, that makes us feel fulfilled, especially when we're moving towards it. When we're not moving, or we feel like we've got no progress, or we feel stagnant, that's when we really start to, I guess, bottom out and feel like shit. Gosh, I was 19, 20 years old, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. You know, I was doing personal training back then and stuff like that, and that wasn't really, you know, making me feel good. And I kind of bounced from job to job to job, and it's quite interesting because the emptiness that I felt and the lack of purpose I had inside affected all areas of my life. You know, I drank a little bit, I let it affect my relationship back then. And like, you know, having, I guess, that time to look inside yourself and get that perspective on you. God, I am a massive advocate of perspective, but getting that perspective on yourself and finding out what drives you right now in this stage of your life, and then moving towards that is going to make you feel absolutely amazing. So once again, let's just quickly recap. 3 things. 1, looking out into the world as a whole is hard. You can get overwhelmed because it's like, how do you identify or pinpoint exactly what it is that's making you feel upset or down or like something's lacking, right? So we break it down into different areas so we can then identify exactly where you feel like you're lacking, and then you can start to take some action to change that and make it improve. Number 1. Number 2, we need to take control of our mind and our body, because the patterns of thought and our patterns of body language, our physiology, ultimately affect our state like nothing else will. Interesting thing, they say that, you know, having a big natural smile, like that, a big natural smile actually makes the body produce serotonin, which is interesting because when you think about somebody that does depression really well, how often do they smile? Not very often. So it's important that we're doing things to make our body produce the chemicals and all that feel-good stuff that we have naturally actually happen. You know, exercise, smiling, feeling good, laughter, dopamine, dopamine, endorphins, serotonin. So, you know, our body's this amazing thing that can produce all the feel-good hormones that we need. But if we're not moving our body right, not doing the right things, we're not going to get them. So it's really, really important that we take control of this and this. Once again, Amy Cuddy, Presence, fantastic book about becoming your own authentic self. Really, really good. And number 3 is purpose. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you're just doing a day-to-day grind and you've got no real passion for it, there's no real, it's just not really your thing. Like, you do that again and again and again and again and again, it's at the end of the day, it's going to wear you out and it's going to make you feel hollow. And when you feel hollow, you're not feeling fulfilled, and then you can sink into these states of depression, hopelessness, like you're not moving anywhere, stagnancy. So those 3 things. 1, break life down into areas, get clear, take action to improve. Step 2, take control of mind and body. And step 3, try to find what your purpose is right now in this stage of life. Because once you get that, oh my God, you can start moving towards it. And when you get that sense of progress and growth as you're moving towards being the person you want to be and having things that you want to have, that's when life feels amazing. And the truth is this, is that, you know, we've got one life, unless you believe in, you know, lives to come and all that kind of stuff, and that's cool, it's your belief. But we've got one life right now that we're living. And it's important that we actually take this life and make the most of it, because, you know, you don't want it to go out there all the way to the end of your life, turn around and look back and go, oh my God, what a life that was wasted. So it's important that we identify areas that are lacking, we own ourselves, and we find what our purpose is right now. And it's going to change. The goalposts change as we grow and as we change and as we evolve as people. So takeaway from this is, if you're feeling unhappiness or a sense of lostness or whatever it might be, break life down into those areas and just score yourself. 1 to 10. 1 being horse shit, it's absolutely horrible, this area of life. 10 being it's magnificent, I don't want to change anything. Score yourself in different areas of life. And then, once again, number 2, become aware. Once again, this is a hypnotic triple. I'm repeating it 3 times. Become aware of your patterns of thought and your patterns of the body. Because if you're slunched down, if you're always, thinking these thoughts, asking yourself questions like, oh, why is life so hard? That's the way you're going to feel. And of course, number 3, try to find what your purpose is right now. And sometimes that can take a long time to find. But if you're experiencing things and you're doing new things, you're going to get there faster than sitting there and just thinking. Life is a process of doing, and we learn so fast when we just do. Anyway, that's today's daily video. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.